You may remember playing MegaMan Legends 2 back in the early 2000s, but did you know that you could play as different characters? Hi, it's Jamie from Pixel Discoveries, and that's just one of the many secrets that you and I are going to explore today. So I hope you'll join me as we explore hidden rooms, glitchy development areas, and so much more. MegaMan Legends 2 has many quirky, non-playable characters, all of which have their own unique personalities. But have you ever wondered what it would be like to play as one of these characters? By altering the appropriate memory address of MegaMan's model data, we're able to manipulate him into different playable characters. Here we see Tron, Glide, Gats, and my personal favorite, Baby Bon. Oddly, you can also play as Matilda and interact with yourself. Surprisingly, you can even play as Roll. Now you don't need to feel guilty for reading Roll's diary. Finally, there's this comical version of MegaMan holding a frying pan. This was seen earlier in the opening scene. I can see potential here for an interesting minigame. Clearly, each player was coded correctly, so why weren't they playable in the final game? Well, looking at the old MegaMan Legends 2 promotional website from 2000, there's a development note that indicates you could play as different characters. In the early stages of development, we had this idea that you could control characters other than MegaMan. We created a development tool at the time to accomplish this. You could control Roll, Glide, Gats, and even Baby Bon. However, the movements are that of MegaMan, so everyone walks in the same manner. We considered putting it in the final game as a bonus, but due to time constraints, it wasn't possible. While the idea was ultimately dismissed, the development code mentioned in the article remains. Wouldn't it have been nice to play as a servbot? Let me know in the comments what character you would have liked to play as. In the Debug release of Legends 2, we're able to access a hidden debug mode by pressing a key combination at the title screen. This allows us to select any area we want and gives us free access to the camera, even during cutscenes. As you can see, we're presented with an on-screen debugger that has a lot of useful information such as the player's X and Y values, rotation variables, and timers and various flags that can be activated or deactivated. This is a programmer's dream and gives us a rare look into what only the developers would have been able to access. By modifying the room entry code, we're presented with a large test environment. When designing software, programmers often create test environments for debugging purposes. In the gaming industry, these areas facilitate the ability to test out many features in one central area. Luckily for us, the developers decided to keep the code and this entire debug environment stored in the commercially available release. Let's take a look around. There's a giant Roll character, most likely used to test how large character renderings would affect performance. Here's a rather disgruntled-looking Tron, most likely for animation tests. We also have these glitchy-looking floors to test out heat, ice, electrical, and acidic areas. There's also a few boxes, high buildings, and this crystal-looking object. There's not much to see here, but it's certainly an odd enough find. Our next discovery is somewhat of a mystery. Let's take a look at the North American disc label. If we look at the back, we see this mysterious area that simply isn't present anywhere in the game. It seems that printing unused areas is fairly common, much like the Super Mario Bros. 3 box. Unfortunately, it looks like this area was removed because it simply does not exist anywhere in the game code. However, when loading up the Japanese demo version, we can see that there are several areas that look completely different. Perhaps we'll find it here. Let's modify the level code data and see what we find. Here we have this area with the word test written on the ground. Perhaps it was used for testing complex jumps. Here's a new area. I really like this giant Reaverbot. I wonder what this rainbow is doing here. Is it raining over there? Here's another rather empty debug area. It seems we've come to the end of the line. There's only one area left, and look, it's the area that was on the back of the case. This was surprisingly well hidden. Let's explore. First, there's several of these non-playable characters that have their own Japanese text. Let's check out this shop. It's rather detailed and filled with parts and has some unusual lighting effects. I wonder if the servbots would have set up shop here. Next, let's check out this restaurant. Amazingly, the restaurant is very well designed with many subtle details. Obviously, a lot of work was put into this, so it's unfortunate that it didn't make the final cut. Who ordered the pizza and lobster platter? Check out this animated sign. To this day, it remains a mystery as to why the area was cut, but it will remain printed on the label forever. The junk shop located within the sulfur bottom is littered with serve-bots and is pretty underwhelming. However, did you know that there's an alternative junk shop hidden within the game's code? Let's take a look. Although it's void of any characters, we can see this odd-looking truck with a bunch of tools scattered around. There's also this conveyor belt, which oddly wasn't animated in the final game. It appears to be pressing or stamping something, and although there's a chain hanging from the ceiling, there's no motor attached. Why would this have been removed? The junk shop is much more detailed, so it's a mystery why they kept the more basic version in the final release. One of the things that made the Mega Man Legends series unique at the time is that it uses 2D anime-style textures to complement the 3D objects. All of the texture data is stored as a flat image. Here we have Mega Man's texture data, but mysteriously, there's a strange character and message embedded here. Roll's texture has this little robot. It looks somewhat like a transformer. Barrel also has a robot of some sort. But what exactly are these strange robots? If you have any idea, please let me know in the comments. Here's another mysterious image, but what do we have here? Let's unscramble it. Oh, it's a subscribe button. On that note, why not hit the subscribe button below to see more videos like this? Did you know about any of these secrets? Is there a hidden area that only you know about? I'd like to hear from you, so please let me know down below. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Pixel Discoveries video.